All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you remain standing, I have Commissioner Wortman.
If you can remain standing, please remain standing, but if you need to sit, that's perfectly acceptable. We're going to do a 1 minute and 8 second moment of silence for Commissioner Lynn Hsu. The significance of the 1 minute and 8 second is that it represents that one donor can save 8 lives. And in the moment of silence, people typically reflect on the donor family, as well as the recipient. And as everybody was aware, Donate Life was incredibly important to Commissioner Hsu. It gave him an extra 30 years. So at this time, we'll go ahead and start the moment of silence for Commissioner Hsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Marshall, you'll please lead us in the invocation.
Would you bow with me in prayer? Our gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you once again through the name of your Son and his finished work on our behalf. We come to ask your anointing upon these commissioners who serve as your representatives. You call them to carry out your ministry of governing in this community, and we ask you to direct in their deliberations and decisions. We ask that you grant them hearts to serve you and this community, not their own personal interest. We ask that you grant them wisdom and discernment to navigate through the facts and figures before them. May that discernment enable them to reach decisions that are honoring to you and advance the welfare of this community. In this season of Thanksgiving, when we remember your gracious care for all of us and your provision for our needs, including our freedom of self-government, we thank you for these public servants and their commitment to serve the people. We also remember your faithful servant, Lynn Hsu, and his many years of public service. We thank you for his commitment to invest his time and resources to better this community. We thank you that he committed his life to you, trusting that the death of your son in his place fully paid for any act, thought, or word that fell short of your holy standards. Because he made that commitment, we can also thank you that he is now rejoicing in your presence. May this thought bring peace and comfort to his family, and may his passing remind us that none of us know the time of our passing. May we live in the light of that truth and seek to redeem the time that you grant to us. In keeping with the spirit of this season and our heart's desire to please you, we ask that the words of Psalm 100 may express our own attitude of gratitude towards you. Shout with joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him singing with joy. Acknowledge that the Lord is God. He made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving, into his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name, for the Lord is good. His unfailing love continues forever, and his faithfulness continues to each generation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, I'd like to recognize our
Youth Council Commissioner Cabarrus. Why don't you tell a little bit about you? And probably you want to tell them your name so they say it right rather than how I said it.
Hey everyone, my name is Cabarrus. I'm the president of the Cabarrus County Youth Commission, and I'm so excited to be here. I hope all of you are doing well. For our 2026 Passion Project, we have chosen financial literacy. It's called the Real Money and Real World Initiative, where high school students will focus on an interactive financial literacy stimulation, where we will assign them real-life jobs and they will learn how to properly budget. We are so excited to partner with Cabarrus County High Schools to put this plan into action. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passes 4-0. Next, do I have a motion to approve the agenda, including the changes on page 36?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda, including all changes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Okay. Next, we'll go to recognitions and presentations. Commissioner Workman, I believe you have a resolution concerning Commissioner Shue.
I do, and if we could have Commissioner Shue's family to the podium, Patty, Avery, Sheena, Ashley, Ricky, AJ, Cammie, Mitch, and Cindy. This is the flag that we flew for Donate Life at Lynn's funeral. I'll read this here as Mitch, are you still planning to accept? Mitch is Lynn's brother. He's going to accept the resolution on behalf. It says, resolution honoring the life and service of Commissioner Lynn W. Shue. Whereas the Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners is deeply saddened by the passing of Commissioner Lynn Shue on November 5th, 2025, a respected public servant and cherished community leader. And whereas Lynn W. Shue dedicated more than 20 years to public service in Cabarrus County, serving multiple terms on the Cabarrus County Board of Education, including as chairman. Whereas Lynn W. Shue was elected to the Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners in 2014 and served on the board from 2015 until his passing in 2025. Whereas throughout his career, Commissioner Shue was known for his integrity, compassion, and dedication to the people of Cabarrus County, consistently demonstrating honorable and thoughtful leadership. And whereas his service on the Board of Education helped guide the county's educational system through significant growth and change, and his tenure on the Board of Commissioners contributed to the county's success and reputation as a model for others across North Carolina. And whereas despite facing significant personal health challenges, including a heart transplant and a kidney transplant, Lynn continued to serve his community with energy, purpose, and unwavering commitment. And whereas Commissioner Shue was a passionate supporter of Donate Life, a nonprofit organization dedicated to saving and enhancing lives through organ, eye, and tissue donation, raising awareness about the critical need for donors and honoring donor families and recipients. And whereas Commissioner Shue's faith, humility, and wisdom inspired his colleagues and all who knew him, and he served as a mentor and example of principled public service to the community. And whereas his passing is a significant loss to Cabarrus County, and the Board of Commissioners wishes to honor his legacy and extend condolences to his family, friends, and all who were touched by his life. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners hereby honors the life, service, and enduring legacy of Commissioner Lynn W. Shue, expressing gratitude for his decades of dedication to the people of Cabarrus County, and directs that this resolution be included in the official minutes of the board and a copy presented to his family as a lasting tribute, adopted this 17th day of November 2025. And while I had a moment, I also wanted to recognize Lynn's family and Patty. Patty, Lynn was not the only one that served. You served for 20 years too. We all know the time commitment that this takes, but also our spouses have to bear the brunt of that as well. So thank you for sharing Lynn with us for 20 years so that he could make a difference.
You loved every minute of it. I think that's what kept him going.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
We had a second? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed 4-0.
Thank you.
Next, we have Holly McCollum. There we go, on the National Adoption Day.
Good evening, Commissioners, County Manager Sifford, and Cabarrus County staff. My name is Holly McCallum, and I serve as the Cabarrus County DSS Director. And today, myself, along with a couple of our child welfare staff, are here to recognize National Adoption Day. On November 1st, Cabarrus County celebrated the 12 adoptions that were finalized over the last fiscal year, with a number of families who have opened up their hearts and homes to provide stable, loving homes to children in our community, permanency to those children who have been in our care. And so we're excited to share with you a video that fully recognizes the importance of adoptions and the work that we do, as well as share the proclamation that we're hoping to have approved by you all today. And with that, we'll start with the video.
I want to thank everybody for being here as we celebrate National Adoption Day 2025. We hope today is filled with joy, hope, and gratitude. This is a time to celebrate the beautiful families that have been formed through adoption and to honor the children, parents, social workers, and advocates who make these families possible.
I think anybody can be a foster parent. The quality of just being open-minded and having an open heart is all you need. You will find your way to the group of children whom you feel like you can best serve. And I think that you will be surprised how much your heart will continue to grow and open to these children, no matter how short or long their stays are.
As of mid-October 2025, Cabarrus County had 174 children in foster care. Currently, we have 43 licensed foster families who have opened their homes to care for children within our community. And the reason why we're here today is to celebrate the 12 adoptions that have been finalized right here in Cabarrus County.
When we got the call for Chloe, she was a teenager. Teenagers in of themselves come with different challenges, but Chloe has been spectacular and she is an amazing child. I can't imagine our life without her, and so happy that we can give her a home in which she can be herself and also reach her potential, because she's never had an opportunity to. I forgot sometimes like how just small things can be life-changing for her. So, for example, she had never gotten an opportunity to participate in extracurriculars activities before, and her dream, which seems so simple, was to be on the cheerleading team. And so she is now part of the JV cheer squad. She is in her element. You see her out there cheering for the games, and she is so happy with the opportunity to do something that we take for granted in our everyday lives. In her previous experiences, so often they were negative and she was put down, and she is incredibly sweet and kind and smart and has so much to offer everybody whose life she touches. And she's just starting to believe in herself and realize how valuable she is as a friend, how valuable she is as a daughter. So I'm so excited to see what she does.
Behind each statistic is a child with a name, a story, and a desire to belong. We encourage every member of our community to consider how you can help. I'd like for you to ask yourself, can you be a foster parent? Can you support a foster family in our community? or encourage someone to dedicate the time and devotion it needs to give their heart, time, and space to a foster child in our community.
Good evening. My name is Candace Davis, and I am the Adoption Supervisor at Cabarrus County DSS, and it is my honor to now read the National Adoption Day Proclamation. Whereas the youth of North Carolina are our most precious resource and hope for the future, and every child deserves a safe, loving, and nurturing place to call home. And whereas more than 10,500 children and youth are in foster care in North Carolina, and roughly 200 children and youth are in foster care in Cabarrus County, with many waiting for adoption, many children in foster care are teenagers, with more than 600 specifically noted in 2024 estimates by Adopt US Kids as teenagers waiting for adoption. And whereas for children who have lost their birth families, adoption can provide the home life, parental love, nurturing, and security that they would otherwise be missing. And whereas caring adults and committed families can make all the difference in the lives of young people, sibling groups, children with special needs, and teenagers. And whereas North Carolina families are encouraged to share their hearts and homes with older youth at risk of aging out of foster care while waiting to be adopted. And whereas many advocates and public and private organizations are working to recruit permanent, loving families and increase public awareness of the unique needs of children and youth in foster care while waiting for permanence. And whereas Adoption Awareness Month is an opportunity to recognize the families who open their hearts to provide children with a sense of connection, security, and ties to their culture, family, and community, as well as child welfare professionals and advocates working to ensure children's safety and well-being, and to spread awareness on behalf of the children waiting. And whereas the state of North Carolina encourages residents to volunteer their time, energy, and talents on behalf of children in foster care and their biological families, kinship caregivers, and foster parents during this month and throughout the year. Now therefore be it resolved that the Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim November 22nd, 2025 as National Adoption Day in Cabarrus County and commend its observance to all citizens. Adopted this 17th day of November 2025. Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the proclamation?
I'll make the motion that we accept this resolution as presented.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. All right. We are going to, excuse me one second. All right, we're going to informal comments. I'd like to remind everybody again that the board has adopted a public participation policy that provides reasonable rules on how the public can have their voice heard by their leaders. Under the policy, the board welcomes all viewpoints. However, speakers must be respectful and observe proper decorum. Speakers are free to discuss substantive concerns of public interest in job performance, but irrelevant personal insults and attacks are not allowed. Please do not identify minors or release personal information of minors without permission from their parents. Speakers must register with the clerk. You should have filled out a yellow card before speaking. You have up to 3 minutes to speak, and we'll have to cut you off at 3 minutes. And if you don't have a copy of the policy, you can get one from the clerk if you need one. All right, Madam Clerk.
Yolanda Rushing.
Good evening. I come before you tonight humbly but firmly, urging this board to look into the Cabarrus County Department of Social Services for improperly removing children from their homes. 2 months ago, I requested that a commissioner investigate these concerns. To this day, I have received no response. I remind this board that you work for all residents of this county. I pay over $5,000 in property taxes, yet my concerns, along with those of other families who have been silenced, shunned, belittled, mocked, remain unaddressed. I refuse to remain silent. Silence has already allowed this county to cause more harm than good. And it is no secret that Cabarrus County has a dark and painful history when it comes to separating families. We can begin with Stonewall Jackson long before it became the youth detention center we know today. Young boys, unfortunately, were raped, beaten, tortured, and even sterilized. Yet that history remains buried. Then there is the case of Ronnie Long, incarcerated at a young age, despite his innocence and forced to serve more than 40 years. 40 years. He was separated from his family based on a lie that was known from day one. And now you have my story. My children were improperly removed from their home after I followed state law and reported instances of suspected abuse. Now you want to bury my situation behind unwritten policies and unspoken rules. You cannot continue harming children and families and then hide behind the law as it absolves you. I remind this board that it is your actions, past and present, that keep this county from delivering a true quality of life to everyone. Quality of life is not selective, but the decisions of this board and of previous boards have repeatedly caused pain instead of progress. Revisit your past, take accountability, address the issues openly, be transparent, and let me also remind you, county commissioner elections are next year. I challenge every incumbent and every candidate to confront this issue head on. It is time for this county to finally do right by all children. To the residents of Cabarrus County, I urge you to be mindful when making reports to our county DSS. Not every call warrants removing a child from their home or rushing to adoption. Many families simply need support, community services that help them thrive and stay together. And for those fostering or considering adoption in this county, ask yourselves, where did this child come from? Then begin researching the answers that truly matter.
David Conrad.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is David Conrad from Concord. At last month's meeting, it was mentioned that if certain state funds were reduced or not renewed, the county might have to raise taxes. I understand that concern. I do. The state still hasn't passed a budget and no one knows exactly what changes may come. However, uncertainty at the state level does not automatically mean taxpayers must be the first place leaders turn to. When we look at our own numbers, it becomes clear that the real challenges in Cabarrus County are not revenue, it's spending. Here are the facts. The county is moving forward with a $330 million capital plan. Tonight's agenda includes another $2 million for office renovations in this very government center. And the last adopted school budget included over $5 million in technology upgrades. Look, I love technology like everybody else, but $1.3 million for new TVs and interactive displays and more than $4 million for Chromebooks. These are not emergency items. They're choices made while we are being told the county is facing shortfalls. We also saw at the last work session last week that over 79,000 residents in Cabarrus County receive either Medicaid or food assistance. That's nearly 1/3 of our entire population. That tells us that growth is straining our systems, and maybe we need to take a closer look at eligibility and oversight. But nothing in the state or federal changes we've heard about creates a budget crisis. If the county is facing financial pressure, it is because of local spending choices, not because the state or federal government cut us off. The county's own Human Services report shows about $1.2 million in added administrative costs from federal changes to the Food and Nutrition Services Program. Yes, that is real money, but it is not a number that forces tax increases when we are approving projects in the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. My point is simple. Cabarrus County does not have a revenue problem. The county has a spending priority problem. Before we even talk about raising taxes, we should look closely at what we choose to fund, how quickly we fund it, and whether or not it lines up with the needs of the people who live here. Families in this county separate needs from wants every day, and I encourage the commissioners to do the same thing. Thank you.
Elizabeth Nervenia.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Elizabeth Nervenia. Many of you up here know me and have seen me before, but tonight I'm honored to introduce myself as the newly appointed member of the Midland Town Council. I was recently appointed to fill the unexpired term of Darren Hartzell, who recently resigned, and it's a true privilege for me to serve my community in this new capacity and to work alongside others and yourselves who are equally committed to the betterment of the town of Midland and our county. I'd like to take a moment, as already has been done here tonight, to express sadness over the passing of Commissioner Hsu. He was a respected leader who spent years of service here, and it left a lasting impact on our county. But at the same time, we are looking ahead, and as we look ahead, I sincerely hope that his seat will be filled with an appointee who, like him, has the best interests of Cabarrus County, our taxpayers, and the citizens of Midland at heart. I, along with many other citizens in Midland, will be watching this process carefully and with hope for our county. I would also like to take a minute to express my gratitude to outgoing Midland Town Councilman Richard Wise, who you all know, he shows up here quite a bit. Richard has been a steadfast advocate for Midland, faithfully attending these meetings to ensure that our town's needs and concerns are heard. His dedication to representing our citizens has set a big example for me to follow. As I step into this new role, my goal is to be an added voice for the town of Midland, to make sure our residents are receiving the support, services, and benefits that our town rightfully deserves through the tax dollars we contribute to this county. And while I have your ear, just wanted to share one issue that we're having in the town of Midland. As a reminder, I had recently emailed you guys about the solar farm properties that are technically in Midland, but not within the town limits. They're on county property. It's been brought to our attention and your attention that the solar farms are in pretty bad disrepair. They were needing significant attention and maintenance. From my understanding, over the weekend, there was another brush fire at one of the solar farms. It was the one on Wallace Road, due at least in part to the lack of landscaping, overgrown vegetation, these things that continue to be a hazard. So these continue to present liabilities and safety hazards, so I would just encourage you to please continue working to find the property owners of these solar farms and kindly have the safety issues addressed as soon as you guys are able, just for the safety of the town. But in closing, I'm eager to collaborate with each of you and to continue building a strong, respectful partnership between Midland and Cabarrus County. Together, I believe we can ensure that every corner of our county thrives, with the town of Midland included. I want to thank you each for your time and your service to our community. I look forward to working with you guys more closely. Thanks.
Ingrid Nurse.
Good evening, Cabarrus County Commissioners. As a dedicated member of the community, I'm curious to know why I was denied to be on the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. You approved everyone except for me. I am more than qualified for a position on this board that I have not served on before. I filled out the application, I submitted all the required documents, and gave a presentation to the board. I was unanimously approved and recommended by their board to serve the term. I work with and serve at-risk teens. This is what this board is about, as this is a passion of mine. That's why I dedicated my time and want to serve for free on this board. I do not understand why any members on this board would want to keep me, our commission board, would want to keep me from serving and volunteering in the community, especially for a committee that has historically and had issues with people not being able to meet the requirements of this board and actually be excited about it. This is a nonpartisan board, and a party affiliation should not matter. We should all want better for our community. Hopefully, this can be fixed soon. I would appreciate all of your support. And also, I wanted to mention that I did discuss this board with Mr. Lin Shu while living, that this was a passion to serve this board. In closing, you didn't even list an alternative to replace me. You simply denied my application for no reason. Again, I am Ingrid Nurse, for the people, by the people, because I am the people. And I want to serve my community. Just like my brothers and 8 members of my family have served the country, I would like to serve the community. Thank you.
Jeter Anderson.
Good evening, Jeter Anderson. Did y'all like the DSS video y'all watched where they feel anyone can be a foster parent? Because in this county, you can't be a parent. Let me tell you what happened to my family on 4/9/16. We was in the house watching Disney. Beautiful child. Our child was just sitting there watching Disney, getting ready for bed. She got taken because we didn't get the phone call. What is it when your child is taken and you don't even know why? What's that called? I think it's kidnapping. So these social workers take our child and we never know why this child is taken. We never get an answer. We never get a reason. And by the way, don't you ask questions. Don't ask why your child was taken. Don't you ask a question because I got charged and convicted because I asked a question. Because I want to know why. I'm not the one that should be in trouble. One of y'all are. One of y'all is willfully hiring the answer of why this child was taken. And y'all willfully doing this when this child was taken 4/9/16. And we had a member of this board say he was going to look into it. I'm going to look into it. Well, he never did look into it. That was a lie. And so we're having children removed out this county, don't even know why. And it's primarily happened to some veterans with their children taken. But anyone could be a foster parent. Get you one of these kids that's being taken from a family that loves them and wants them, needs them, has to have them, will do anything to get them. But we're going to get silenced and we're going to get shut up, and you're not going to find out anything about this child ever again, because the county hired a lawyer named Jay White, contracted him out, and he didn't care what he had to do to get this child. Some of the stuff he had to do involved exploitation of a vulnerable adult, and it was so bad. It was so bad on this girl, it caused her to die, pass away. And you tell anybody up here at this county, they're not in charge. They didn't do it. It's not their problem. But just don't call up here. Don't do nothing for us no more. Don't answer the questions. We don't know what the deal is. Don't try to figure it out, because why? What's the reasons? Did that child get too much money for this county? Did you get some money from this county for this child? Seem like you'd be interested in why children are being removed from homes and not even a reason why. So on 4/9/16, our child was taken, never seen again, no reason why. And somebody was exploited during this process. My sister, Erica Anderson, she was exploited so bad, she died. And that was no sight to see. You don't want to see nobody ever be exploited, especially a vulnerable person. But y'all don't care.
Thomas Monks.
Good evening, Commissioners. First, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to Commissioner Wortman. Your willingness to introduce a motion to provide emergency funding during the lapse of SNAP benefits means a great deal to families who were suddenly caught in the gap. When the federal safety net faltered, you stepped up, and that leadership matters. But as we know, even though the government has reopened and SNAP benefits have resumed, the ripple effects did not end the moment the checks restarted. Our local food banks were hit with a surge in demand, one they had to meet immediately. And at that exact moment, they were preparing for the Thanksgiving and holiday seasons. their busiest and most resource-intensive time of the year. They stretched their volunteers, emptied their shelves, and scrambled to raise the funds to fill the gap. So tonight, I urge you all to pass the motion tonight and release those funds. What happened over the last few weeks is a reminder of something bigger. The federal landscape is unpredictable, policies change with little warning, and our communities absorb the shock every time. That's why we can't just respond to crises by crisis. We need to build a local, community-based action plan, one that allows us to withstand the ups and downs coming from Raleigh or from Washington. Tonight, I'm asking you to take the next step with us by joining Down Home, North Carolina for our Cabarrus Community Conversations Roundtable, which is this Thursday, November 20th at 6 p.m. at the Clearwater Arts Center. This won't be a lecture, and it's not a political rally. It's a space to listen and learn from those most impacted and build the kind of collaborative solutions that last beyond a shutdown, beyond a news cycle, and beyond a single moment of crisis. We believe in a future where local leaders, community members, and organizations are working side by side, not waiting for the next federal shakeup, but preparing together so families aren't left vulnerable. Commissioners, you have the influence and the platform to help guide that work, and the community is ready to meet you there. Thank you for your time, and we hope to see you on November 20th.
That is all.
Next, go to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the items on the consent agenda as presented.
Have a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass 4-0. All right, move on to new business. First is a motion on the juvenile crime prevention appointment. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve the JCPC appointment.
I have a second? Second. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That looks like it passed 4-0. Next is a motion, do I have a motion on the planning and zoning appointment?
So I will make the motion that we approve all three of the planning and zoning appointments that we have listed in new business.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0. And then now we have the Human Services Community Response to Funding. Elise?
Good evening, Commissioners. So at the direction of this board, we met with key community partners last week to assess needs and emerging trends related to the recent federal government shutdown. Although the shutdown has since ended, my DSS team reports that the state is experiencing delays in issuing certain benefits due to an internal system issue. As a result, some beneficiaries have not yet received their full disbursements, and local providers continue to see elevated need. In our discussions with community partners, they noted that disruptions to federal programs, particularly the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, otherwise known as SNAP, significantly strained local food and financial assistance resources. Residents also expressed heightened fear and anxiety as they faced uncertainty about meeting basic household needs. So we're suggesting a proposal which outlines a coordinated local response to help mitigate these impacts on low and moderate income residents in Cabarrus County and to strengthen preparedness for possible future disruptions. Although the immediate crisis has passed, the effects of the shutdown and benefit delays continue to create instability for many families here in Cabarrus County. So the demonstrated need, without intervention, our local agencies anticipate a surge in demand for both food and crisis assistance meaning rental assistance and utilities assistance, as families redirected funds typically reserved for housing and bills toward immediate food needs over the course of the past 2 to 3 weeks. In terms of a framework, if approved, Cabarrus County would distribute funds as grants modeled after the ARPA grant structure, so we already have an infrastructure in place within the county to do this, to qualified community-based organizations providing food or crisis assistance. Grantees would make a good faith effort to ensure that resources are directed to those most in need, particularly children, adults, and seniors eligible for SNAP benefits, without imposing any administrative burdens that could limit participation. The key proposed elements that funds could potentially be used for would include shelf-stable food boxes distributed through established local channels, crisis assistance grants, which is kind of a new thing that wasn't necessarily mentioned 2 weeks ago, but was a need that was raised by our community-based organizations to help offset rent and utility expenses for affected households, flexibility for providers to apply for additional funds to fill unforeseen gaps that they just don't anticipate at this time, and then a hold harmless clause for agencies acting in good faith to fulfill program intent. And then lastly, a proposed retroactive eligibility for expenses incurred beginning November 1st for the agencies. In terms of implementation and oversight, we would manage it within the agency, the Human Services Agency, or in partnership with our finance department with an appointed ARPA-style grants administrator. In terms of a funding cycle, immediate release upon board approval, grantees may claim eligible expenses, again, retroactive to November the 1st. In terms of reporting, we would mandate quarterly updates summarizing total meals and services distributed, estimated households reach, and whether or not there's a remaining or unmet need. And then in terms of evaluation, we would review outcomes to inform a long-term crisis response framework for future federal or state disruptions. In terms of projected outcomes, we believe this would mitigate the immediate effects of the federal shutdown for low and moderate income households, again, here in Cabarrus County solely, and provide meals to local residents and ensure continuity of rent and utility support. We also believe this would reduce pressure on primary food pantries by distributing through schools and churches and some of the smaller agencies, and strengthen interagency collaboration and data sharing for future emergency response. And I do have a recommendation, which is very different than the recommendation that was put forth 2 weeks ago, that I'm happy to share should you wish that I read that. Yes? Okay. So if Cabarrus County should choose to authorize the allocation of crisis response grant funds to eligible community providers, it could be executed as, again, as I already outlined in terms of sort of a grant format, enabling rapid deployment of critical food and financial assistance to county residents affected by the federal government shutdown. And staff does recommend a maximum of $150,000 at this time based on responses from our service providers, and again, if the board elects to fund the crisis response. Happy to answer any questions.
I would just like to thank both the county and the nonprofits, some of which are represented here tonight. I didn't know a number to shoot for. I threw $1 million out, and you guys came with what you truly needed, and it went from $1 million to $150,000. So I would like to thank you guys for going very conservative on that number with what you truly needed. And I do know I wanted to just read out a few. Second Harvest Food Bank, they would be coordinating with Cooperative Christian Ministries to distribute 16,000 boxes across 24 counties, priority to SNAP beneficiaries. The boxes are $25 a box, but a lot of different agencies funnel from underneath there here locally. Cooperative Christian Ministries, they were at $22,000 to $25,000, anticipating a 20% increase in food and financial assistance. One Can, and another local one here, they do the snack bags for schools, and that was an expansion from 4 items per bag to 7 items, so 1 drink and 6 snacks. And that would be distributed Cabarrus County Schools, 2,500 bags, Kannapolis City Schools, 500 bags, Concord Lake STEM Academy, 500 bags, and El Puente, $675. And there's some multiplied churches listed. Meals on Wheels, so if anybody's ever delivered Meals on Wheels and gone out and seen the people that receive that assistance, they truly need it. That would provide 3 boxes per senior, so 21 shelf-stable meals total. Each order of 500 boxes is about $17,000, so that would be 3 rounds of distribution for Meals on Wheels, and then smaller agencies. So again, I want to thank you guys for coming with truly what you needed and not seeing $1 million and asking for all of it. I think that I appreciate that very much, and I know you guys make every dollar count. I know you're strained, so thank you for looking at that in good conscience for us.
So I also would like to say that I appreciate you guys taking the time. I know that was quite an undertaking to try to figure out, A, where we would take $1 million, and now also with the requests from these local agencies. I do want to say a couple of things. Kenny, I appreciate you calling me today. I think that we had a great conversation, and I truly believe that your heart is in the right place with this. But in my opinion, I think instead of taking taxpayer money without their consent to donate to certain nonprofits, that we would do better to make sure that we post this information for the needs of these organizations to our website so that our community members can see what the needs are, and our churches and our other nonprofits and individuals can step up to make those donations as they see fit. My job is to make sure that our taxpayer money is spent with what is the government's responsibility to pay for. And so in that same vein, I am starting the process right now with $100 to donate to these organizations. And I ask that my fellow commissioners step up to meet that need. And I ask that our fellow residents step up to meet that need. And our churches reach out to these organizations and find out what they need so that we can meet those needs for Thanksgiving. And if you all feel so called to donate, we can make sure that this money gets to those organizations if you feel the need to donate tonight. But I think that as a government, it is very important for us to make sure that we are the keepers of this taxpayer money. And a lot of these taxpayers don't like us giving money without their consent to nonprofits. I want to lower the tax rate so that people can give the money themselves. And so that is why I am not supporting giving this money this evening.
I appreciate Commissioner Lindsay's comments, and I agree wholeheartedly. Y'all don't know me like you think you do. You don't know that when I was just out of seminary, I was serving as a student supply pastor at church in Greenville, North Carolina, making $100 a week. Even in 1980, 1981, that wasn't a whole lot of money. And the only time in my life that I've ever had anything to do with getting money from the government was, I mean, for relief, that is. Yeah, I'm getting paid here now, but the only time that we ever used any government assistance was the few months that $100 a week was all I had, and we had a little baby who needed to be fed, and my wife got WIC to take care of her. As soon as I found another job We quit that. Wouldn't have done it at all if I had been making a decent amount of money to start with. And one thing that I've always done, thank God my house is paid off now, but whenever I had to pay rent or whenever I had to pay a mortgage, I always made that a priority, because I always felt like, what good is it to buy food if you don't have a place to stay and a place to cook and eat that food? So the rent had to be paid, the mortgage had to be paid first, and then we did what we could with what we had. And I hated for us to have to be on WIC. It was a necessity with that little baby. I hated having to do that. And, you know, I just don't believe it's the government's responsibility to take care of me. I think citizens can contribute to these organizations. I know my son's church, they're giving food to Corporate Christian Ministry, and we've donated some through his church to that. And, you know, I give to Samaritan's Purse all the time and other organizations. And the church should be taking care of a lot of this, not the government, on taxpayer funding that was put there for other purposes. So I can't support this.
I wanted to thank you guys, but now I'm going to tell you why my vote is yes for it. I will be voting yes. I wanted to read Matthew 25:37-46. This is Jesus speaking in Matthew. It says, "Then these righteous ones will reply, Lord, when did we ever see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink, or a stranger and show you hospitality, or naked and give you clothing? When did we ever see you sick or in person and visit you?" And the king will say, "I tell you the truth, when you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were doing it to me." Then the king will turn to those on the left and say, "Away with you, you cursed ones, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his demons. For I was hungry and you didn't feed me. I was thirsty and you didn't give me a drink. I was a stranger and you didn't invite me into your home. I was naked and you didn't give me clothing. I was sick and in prison and you didn't visit me." Then they will reply, "Lord, when did we ever see you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and not help you?" And he will answer, "I tell you the truth, when you refuse to help the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were refusing to help me." And they will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous will go into eternal life. So the rejection of feeding the least is not going to fall on me tonight. I'm voting to feed the least of these, especially when we have the power to do so. I am in favor, I agree with the fact that the government shouldn't be involved with all that, but as a human being and a Christian, it is our job to help those less fortunate. So that is why my vote is a yes and where it's at. And that's, I figure, everybody gave their response, that's mine, so that's where I'm at.
Mr. Chairman, if I may respond to that. Jesus was not talking about the government. He was talking to people about taking care of each other. That's what we should be doing. And you don't, you know, people should be able to do so voluntarily, not told by the government, you paid taxes for this, but we're going to use it for that instead. So.
But what if there is no Jesus or was no Jesus? What if you're a believer? Yes.
I'm a retired minister of the gospel.
That makes no difference.
I know what I'm talking about.
We can't have
sir.
any,
You
hold on
apparently
one second.
don't.
You cannot speak from the gallery. You can only speak during public comments. No, you cannot. That time is over. I'm just going to ask you, please sit there quietly and let Commissioner Pittman have his say, okay?
You have public comment to do that. I am not one of those who hasn't helped other people. I'm just saying it's not the government's responsibility, without general consent of a majority of the people especially, to take tax money that was taken up for one purpose and direct it to another. That's not the government's responsibility.
And when I talked to Commissioner Lindsay this morning, we bounced our ideas off of each other, and I respect your opinion, but I just wanted to state why I was at where I was at. It was not meant to be disrespectful to you, or we're all entitled to
Right.
our opinion, so that's why.
So we all have a different opinion. I have my opinion, and I'm going to tell you what it is. I don't think there's anything more important to invest in the people in this county. I don't care whether you're on food stamps or not on food stamps. The people in this county always come first when I'm sitting up here. I'm in a position that I can do something to help some people of this county that are in a position that can't help themselves right now. And that's why I'll be voting for it.
Chairman, I understand that Commissioner Wortman is doing what he's doing out of a sense of compassion. I appreciate that. But this is not the way to do it. Citizens need to take care of this, churches need to take care of this, not the government.
And again, I respect your opinion, and I also encourage everybody to donate themselves. I'll match your donation. I'll raise it to $500 personally, myself, so.
Well, I
I'll go ahead
appreciate
and
that. I
let's-
do.
If you'll
And
make a motion.
can I also mention too, I'm so sorry. We are going to be placing this on our Cabarrus County website as well. So if you do go on there, this information will be on there. So please, if you feel compelled to give, these are the organizations that have made the request.
Doug, the motion where we're going to vote on it, does it need to be updated since it's 150,000?
Yes, it does. There's been no motion made.
Yeah, but to make them, we're going to have to update it to the current.
Correct.
Amount, right?
Yeah, you can state the motion.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve up to $150,000 for contracts with local nonprofits serving Cabarrus County residents to provide food resources pursuant to NCGS 160D-1311 and to approve any necessary budget amendments.
I'll second it. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, it fails on a 2-2 vote. All right? Now we'll go to reports. All right, any updates from commissioners as to the boards and committees they're on?
Well, I will give my update. So tonight, as you all well know, we had our visitor from the animal shelter. His name was Wybe, and he is up for adoption at the Cabarrus County Animal Shelter. And we have our monthly presentation from the shelter, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
Happy holidays! I'm Commissioner Laura Lindsay here at the Cabarrus County Animal Shelter and ready to give you some festive tips on pet adoption. If you are considering adding a furry friend to your family, now would be a great time. With the Animal Shelter's Home for the Holidays event running from Thanksgiving to Christmas, all of the adoption fees are half off. And if you're ready to take advantage of this special holiday event, here's our director, Julie Battieri, to give us some holiday information about pet adoption.
So yeah, for this Home for the Holidays adoption event, one of our biggest things that we want to kind of tell everybody is that if you are considering doing a gift adoption for your family, we don't recommend that it be a complete surprise. We recommend that you come in, bring the whole family down for a meet and greet so that we can best prepare you and make sure it's a good fit for everybody.
If you're not ready to adopt, you can spread some holiday cheer by donating treats and toys for the animals. And make sure you follow the Cabarrus County Animal Shelter on Facebook and Instagram so that you can meet all the wonderful pets that are ready to meet you. Happy holidays from all of us here at Cabarrus County.
All right. Anyone else have any updates?
I apologize that I forgot to bring my notebook, but a couple things. I was at the Midland Town Hall meeting, or Town Council meeting this month. And I'll tell you one thing, the fire and rescue and law enforcement in that area is getting worked to death. You wouldn't think an area like that, you know, would be so busy with crime and fires and things going on, but the reports that were given that night, I was just astounded at how much they're having to do. And one thing that I do remember out of that report was that the sheriff's deputies reported 260 in 1 month, 260 stops that they had to make of people exceeding the speed limit by at least 10 miles an hour. I don't know if these people were looking at their phone or what, but they sure weren't paying attention to their speedometer, and they need to start doing that. And of course, that was the night that Elizabeth Nervania was appointed, and I'm sure she'll do a good job. I've known her for a lot of years, and she has a heart for the people, and I think she'll do a good job. So congratulations to you. Other thing, the local emergency planning committee, we had a meeting the other day, and there weren't many reports from the participating groups, but some of the things that were reported were significant about the kind of challenges they're facing and how they're trying to meet them. But there was a presentation by a young man. I wish I could remember his name because he's from down there around New Bern where I'm from. And he and I talked about that afterwards. But they've developed a thing, and you may have heard of this. I had never heard of it, to replace sandbags with a different way of stopping floodwaters from getting in your home or a building and that sort of thing. It's a kind of, I don't know what to call it other than rubber or plastic, but they make these things 50 feet long, and they can be anywhere from 12 to 40-something inches tall, and you fill them with water. And you can stack them. They're made to be stackable, so you can build a thing as high as you need to. And they've been testing them out and using them on the beaches, trying to stop some beach erosion and that sort of thing. They've put it around some towns that tend to flood. And from the video that he showed us, it just does wonders. Unfortunately, you and I can't afford them to put around our houses, but it really can save a lot of property from being damaged, especially public property. They can put it around, that sort of thing. And they're even talking about lining Highway 12, and if you don't know, that's the only highway that goes up to Outer Banks. And it's all the time when we have big storms, getting flooded and damaged. And they're working on getting enough of these together to put where the dunes are and stop all that water from coming across Highway 12 and disrupting people's lives down there. So it was a very interesting report. I was thrilled that they'd come up with this, and I can't remember the figures. I wrote it down, but I don't have it now. But it's phenomenal how much this can replace, how many sandbags. And you know, sandbags are one-time use. You can't use them a second time. But these things can be, you know, let the water out of them and fill them up again when you need them. So even though they're a bit expensive, in terms of that versus sandbags, it's going to save some money in the long run. And so I was pretty excited about that. And I wish I'd brought my notes so I could really share it with you. But those are just a couple of things that I wanted you to be aware of.
Thank you. Kenny, you have anything? All right. Move to general comments. Mr. Lindsay, any comments? Okay. Mr. Pittman, any comments?
I just want to apologize to Kelly because earlier today we were talking about the appointment process since the bill got passed earlier this year. And I got a little confused, and I told her one way, it's actually the other way. I've explained that to her. I just want to apologize if I confused you. But hopefully that process is going to go smoothly. And, you know, for people who may not know, the change that took place is that now in Cabarrus County, to replace a county commissioner, the executive committee of the party to which that person belongs will make that decision. We may have a formality of a vote, but it's up to them, not us. But we're hoping we're going to get a good replacement. Lynn served for a long time. I hated to see him suffer like he did. And I'm sorry about that situation. But we do have to get somebody in there, and I'm hoping that process will go smoothly and be a good thing for going forward. But I just want to be clear that if I got you confused, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I have a few comments. Relating to what you said, I think everybody's confused on that statute a little bit. It's kind of poorly written, but we'll work it out. We'll make sure we do it right so we don't get involved in any lawsuits. I want to take this time of year at our household, we're so busy and stuff, but with Thanksgiving coming up, we kind of slow down at that time to give thanks for what happens in our personal lives and what's happening in our family and stuff. Because during the year, you get caught up with all your problems, all your issues, your work, everything. Everything's at a fast pace. So I thought this meeting, before we get back into a fast pace, that I would take time to say thank you for what I've learned here and allowing me to serve here, and give my thanks in my public position. First of all, I want to thank my fellow commissioners. I think we've come a long way since I've been here. I think there's a lot of civility, even though we disagree on many issues. We work through them. We've got a lot accomplished. Any of us could not have done it by ourselves. It took all of us as a team to get there and to get this done. I'm super proud and thankful that we've come together on a plan to fund the building of Northwest High School, and as well as the elementary school, as well as provide funding to the community college and Kannapolis schools. That was much needed. When I started this process, that was something we never thought we'd be able to accomplish in a time frame they needed. But we've come together with a plan that does not affect taxes, that we all agree on. And if we can work that plan, we're going to succeed at that. And I'm very thankful for that. I'm also thankful for the entire staff of the county. I know I wasn't elected up here, but they embraced me, from the top management all the way to tax office, anybody, maintenance, transportation department. Everybody's been so welcoming and helpful, and I learned from being around them, and I am thankful for this, that the people who work for the county love the county. They do what they want because they want this county to succeed, and we should all be thankful for that. I'm thankful for the sheriff's department. They protect us all every single day. They do go beyond and beyond, above and beyond just a regular call service. They're very special. And to me, I can't thank them enough. They keep my family safe. They keep all of our families safe. They help us during any times. I want to also think that we got a county manager here who stepped in, and I am thankful she did, because she came at the right time. She has pulled this team together. She has pulled this county together. And you can see how the employees dearly respect her and fall behind her. She gets things done, and she communicates with every single one of us, and I'm thankful for that. That's something that we definitely need in a county manager, is communication. So I just wanted to do that. And most of all, I want to thank the citizens of Cabarrus County. Even though you didn't put me here, I appreciate your well wishes, your thoughts, your prayers, your criticism. I appreciate it all, and I'm thankful for it. I only become better when I hear your voice. We may disagree, and that's fine, but you may say something. You may have a point of view that I never thought of before. So I encourage you to keep telling me, even if I'm on a complete different spectrum. I may inch over. You never know. But again, I want to thank everybody, and those who I've left out, if you've been involved in any way, and people who serve on all of our committees, the volunteers. I mean, it's a lot of time and effort that goes in this, and each and every one of you need to be thanked for that. I look forward to a tremendous another year on this board. I think we've got a lot of great things to do. We're going to have our battles. We're going to have our disagreements, but we're going to do it in a way so that we can make this county succeed and do it in a way to make Cabarrus County proud. And that's part of it. We're not going to be a laughing stock of other counties anymore. I think we have a great team here. We'll add someone new, whoever it is, we'll welcome them. I'll be thankful if they get on here. We'll have another voice, another opinion, and we'll be thankful for that. So again, thanks everyone, and especially thanks my family for allowing me to continue to do this and put up with me on some days that they probably shouldn't have. Thank you. If I have nothing else, I have a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Pass 4-0. We are adjourned.